Today we do not begin with headlines written in Western newsrooms, but with the sound of alarm echoing from Africa's heart. A question not just for Burkina Faso, but for the entire world. What happens when justice is no longer justice? When the young law itself becomes a weapon. When a single sheet of paper stamped in Paris and whispered through Washington carries the power to chain a continent. This week, Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the young soldier who dared to say, "Our gold stays in Africa. Our oil fuels African homes. Our land belongs to our children," was branded a wanted man by Interpol. But wanted by whom? For what crime? And who benefits when an African leader refuses to bow? Look closely and you see a pattern. First chains of slavery, then flags of colonization, then coups engineered in barracks, and now the red notices of Interpol, different masks, same face. New century, same struggle. The arrest warrant is not about law but leverage, not about crime but control. A tool designed to intimidate and isolate. But instead of silencing Traoré, it has awakened millions who now ask why defending African resources is criminalized, while those who looted them for centuries were never named, never pursued, never held to account. History provides the echo. Patrice Lumumba declared Congo's minerals belonged to its people and was branded dangerous. Thomas Sankara rejected debt dependency and was assassinated at 37. Nelson Mandela was labeled a terrorist and imprisoned for 27 years. And today Ibrahim Traoré is called destabilizing. Different names, but identical accusations because every leader who dares to imagine sovereignty beyond paper, independence is hunted not by their people, but by forces abroad. Interpol, presented as neutral, is in practice political. Its red notice system abused by authoritarian regimes, and now pointed squarely at Africa. A reminder that independence tolerated on paper is punished when acted upon in reality. Why now? Why him? Why Burkina Faso? Consider the timing. Just months after announcing reforms to keep gold and uranium wealth in country. Just weeks after strengthening alliances with Mali and Niger under the Sahel coalition. Suddenly, the warrant appeared coincidence. Or consequence? On record, Burkina Faso is among the world's poorest. Yet beneath its soil lie some of Africa's richest gold deposits, uranium reserves, and fertile land, a paradox created not by nature, but by contracts signed in foreign boardrooms. Wealth flowing north while villages near the mines remain without schools, hospitals, or electricity. When Traoré's government demanded fairer contracts, the narrative shifted. The reformer became the destabilizer, because the flow of wealth no longer moved uninterrupted toward Paris and Brussels. And so the warrant functions less as law and more as warning. Do not challenge existing contracts. Do not disrupt supply chains. Do not dream of sovereignty. But the effect is backfiring. Instead of dividing, it is uniting. Instead of isolating, it is exposing. Instead of silencing, it is amplifying. Farmers ask why defending their land is treated as rebellion. Miners ask who the real thieves are, the laborers in the pits, or the corporations exporting billions. Students ask if this is justice, then what was colonization? Across Africa, the debate spreads. If Traoré is guilty, then guilty of what? Wanting African resources for African children? This is why the warrant resonates far beyond Ouagadougou, because it repeats an old colonial tactic with new tools. Where once the weapon was military intervention, today it is paperwork and bureaucracy. But the goal remains the same: to keep Africa's leaders in line. Yet the generational shift changes everything. Africa's youth, over 60% of the continent, are digital natives, not bound by memories of submission, connected in real time across borders. And for them, the warrant is not deterrence, but proof. Proof that the old order fears their awakening. Workers in the mines, farmers in the fields, soldiers in the barracks, students in the classrooms, all speak of dignity, sovereignty, freedom, Words not drafted in conference rooms, but painted. On walls, sung in marketplaces, shouted in protests. Social media amplifies the resonance. A speech in Ouagadougou is echoed in Lagos within minutes, debated in Johannesburg within hours, discussed in New York by the next morning. The movement grows not around one man, but around an idea. Africa will no longer kneel. And in this lies the danger to the old system. Leaders can be removed, governments can be pressured, but an awakened generation cannot be silenced. Alliances are forming not only at state level through the Sahel Coalition, but at the grassroots. Unions, youth groups, farmers exchanging seeds, workers sharing strategies, and Africa no longer divided by colonial borders, but connected by purpose. This is why Western capitals panic, why reports describe instability, while Africans describe renewal, why sanctions, threats, and warrants now risk fueling the very resistance they were designed to crush. The true breaking news is not the warrant itself, but the reaction it unleashed. Not Interpol's signature, but Africa's refusal to bow. And so the question remains, is this the downfall of a soldier, or the dawn of a continent, Interpol's? Victory or Africa's awakening, the empire's last attempt to chain the future, or the beginning of sovereignty finally made real. And if you believe Africa's wealth belongs to Africa's children, if you believe history's cycle must finally break, then say it, share it, write it, because silence is surrender, and this moment will be remembered not only by the names of leaders, but by the voices of people who refused once more to be silent.